We are Fleck Rose and Spears, and we are Supremely Black, dropping content that matters. How y'all doing this week, fellas?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Doing all right. Doing all right. Doing all right. Can't complain about nothing. Everybody healthy. Everybody's doing good, man. And I'm just waiting on this the time to turn a little bit. Let the autumn hit. A little winter time. I'm about ready for that season to hit. Get fresh out here. Got tired of the summer, somewhat, um, but yeah. But yeah, just waiting on autumn to get here, so having a good time, man. Kids is doing good. Honor rolls in the house. A and B honor rolls is flowing. So, man, very excited about that. Just celebrated two of my great nephews' birthdays, spent time with them. Man, so it's been just a lot of family time. Here lately, there's been just a whole bunch of family time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So everything has been great. What about you, D Road?
Yeah, everything good on my end. I can't complain at all, man. Finally I've been having some trouble sleeping lately, but I didn't got that back under control. So that's solid. Got me some new running shoes. So everything's good. I got to run 11 miles in the morning to catch up with the crew as they get prepared for their Houston half. So shout out to ZLT that be running the Houston half. Some of them from Dallas will be coming down and running the Houston half. I think it's this Sunday, I want to say. But outside of that, dope, shout out to, Kyle and Ivan, my little nephews. They actually both were on the honor roll. So that's a major salute. So seems like everything is everything. I ain't got no complaints on my end at all. But to Flake's point with the fall, I was looking forward to that. I was talking to my mama today, and she talking about it's 56. Meanwhile, it's 90 degrees in Houston. So I guess we may get a little fall down here. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I'm tell you, I had to cook some chili tonight, man. It's a little breeze. Like during the day, it was about, I think it was like 70, so it's feeling good. When that sun went down, boy, that hawk got to screaming through here, boy.
I wish I could
cold
feel
outside, boy.
Yeah. But what about you, though, Spirit?
All as good as on my end. All as good as on my end. My daughter entered womanhood on me, and that's all I'm gonna say. So if you know, you know. My daughter entered womanhood on me, so it ain't no playing on no games no more. So yeah, my baby girl ain't a baby no more. So other than that, everything else is good with me. So
Let me say this: was she with you by yourself when this happened?
yeah.
Boy, hey, the first time that happened to me, I didn't know what to do. Hey, I was blowing my wife phone up, bro. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Look. And the internet couldn't explain it no better. I just pulled the internet. Hey, this about to be explained this way. Even though they already had the conversation, but didn't nobody tell me they already had the conversation. So I'm thinking she don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? and then to have her have to coach you through it. Like, wow.
Well,
You should be the one panicking. I should be the one calm. She coaching me. The child is coaching me through.
my sister came through and helped. So yeah, I just called her mama, and my daughter was calm about it. So I guess that also was a good thing. So it wasn't too bad. She was just real calm about it. Then I called her mama, let her talk to her mama, because I'm pretty sure that's something that her mama probably wanted to be present for or whatnot. And then my sister came through and helped. So and then I went grocery shopping in the morning and got her some supplies and stuff. So, but yeah, I just know that the strap ain't just for show no more. So yeah, so that's all that it was for me and my weekend and how I've been doing. So everything else been good. So we're gonna start off something light before we get into the real topic. So let's discuss this. Top 75 players all time for the 75-year anniversary of the NBA, and what y'all think about it. What you think about the snubs, really, because I don't know all the players, especially of old, but I do know some of the older players. But so I can't really say who shouldn't be on there from a historical standpoint. But I will say I know that some people probably should have made it, especially over others right now in their career. But I'll let y'all chime in and see how y'all feel about it.
Yeah, man. Salute to you, brothers, man, on y'all road to raising beautiful young queens. But yeah, them type of conversation make me want to get snipped before I even had one, bro. Like, hell nah. But yeah, salute. But I'm gonna say this, man. I think Dwight Howard was snubbed, and I think Kyrie was snubbed. Dwight was at one point one of the most dominant centers on the East in the Eastern Conference. Was a defensive player of the year. He took them to the finals. If you're gonna put Kawhi on there, I don't understand how you don't have Dwight on there. And then for you to put Damian Lillard, not to say he's not balling, but I would preferably take Kyrie any day over Dame. And Dame hooping, but Kyrie just special with that ball. That's what I got to say about the two subs the snubs that just jumped out for me. I'll leave it at that because I get y'all perspective on a few others. Steve Nash should have made either, but that's neither here nor there. But it's all good.
This man said, "I'm gonna disagree with you on Dwight Howard."
Of course, yeah. You're a Shaq fan, though, so that makes sense.
But no, they ain't gonna do with it. Now they ain't gonna do with it at all. It's just Dwight Howard took him to the final. What was this, like his first 3-4 years in the league?
Yep, same thing LeBron did in Cleveland.
Yeah. So, but Dwight Howard prime, he ain't did nothing. And like his prime, and like when you hit the prime age, I'm not talking about early. Early, we talking about 20. We came in with 18, 19.
Yeah, 17.
So he balled from like 17 to what, 23?
No.
24?
No, later than that. Yeah.
Because it's been a long time. He ain't did nothing.
It's been like the last maybe 4 or 5 years he's been bouncing around with teams. And that's been based off of just attitude and work ethic. But that man prime was a damn good prime. Like,
last 4 or 5 years, he was bouncing around. 2-3 years before that is when we seen the decline of Dwight Howard not really balling like that.
No. I got to argue with you because even his first stint with LA, he was balling. The thing that hit Dwight was his back, and Kobe had a problem with him not fighting through certain injuries. But Dwight was still a 19-10 guy his first stint with LA with Kobe there. It's just that's when his back started really affecting him, and then that's when he started going on the decline of his career because he started dealing with back injuries, just like T-Mac.
Yeah, we'll put on injuries. I don't think he's a top 75 though. Top 100, yeah. I don't think he's top 75 though. He could be in there over Robert Parrish though, but I don't think he top 75 though. I don't think he top 75. Steve Nash. We'll just leave Steve Nash with. Well, we knew Steve Nash was gonna be in there. Steve Nash and he won back-to-back MVPs, but for whatever reason, they let him get away with that. Only reason I disagree with Kyrie, only because I'm trying to think of a time Kyrie had led a team himself to somewhere special. That's the only reason why.
Never.
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's cool. I mean, but Jordan never did it without Pippen either.
Pippen was drafted to the Bulls. That's the crazy argument I get tired of people saying. Y'all know he was drafted to the Bulls, right? Y'all know he was drafted.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though.
Out of Central Arkansas, nobody out of Central Arkansas, it wasn't even a Supreme College. He came from Central Arkansas.
When Jordan left,
what are we talking about?
They still was damn near in the finals. So if we go off of that, then you can't. I mean, you can't knock that he played with LeBron.
It was. It's two different things. but I'm just saying. Back to Kyrie. Kyrie, I'm trying to think of a time where he just really led a team himself to somewhere special. Did something, and then Kyrie, he's out. Then this before COVID, he's out for whatever reason due to injuries. He taking off for XYZ, this, that, and the other. Whatever he want to do, I ain't saying it's a good or bad reason. But I can see why they said we ain't gonna put him on top 75. He probably be on the top 100. And I say Kawhi is on there just because of what he did in Toronto. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the only reason why they put Kawhi on there for what he did in Toronto.
That boy would have got that shot. They'd have been praising Uncle Drew on that number 75, on that top 75 list, man.
Nah, I don't think it got nothing to do with that.
I feel like him and Dwight both got it because of attitude issues outside of actually what they contributed. To be real with you, like Dwight, 8-time All-Star, 5-time first team, 3-time defensive player of the year, 4-time all defensive team. Like, stop it, dog. Like, ain't no way he not top 75 if you're gonna put Kawhi on there.
I believe Dwight should have been on there. I don't believe Anthony Davis should have been on there as of right now.
No, I don't think he should have either.
Right.
I don't believe who else is on there right now that I don't think should have been on there.
Lillard.
I would even say Lillard, but I wouldn't put Kyrie over Lillard. I would choose Lillard over Kyrie all day. However, I do think that Klay should have been on there, and I do think that Dwight should have been on there. You said nah? One of the best two-way players of all time.
No, Klay.
Who
he gonna replace? Who he gonna replace on the 75th? Who he gonna replace on this list? Out of
Klay done more than AD. Klay done more than Dame. Klay done more than who else is on there?
I ain't gonna say he done more than Dame. Dame been balling with that little garbage team out in Portland.
You can't say
he been keeping them in the conversation with that little garbage team.
You can't say garbage when he had LaMarcus Aldridge at the beginning and LaMarcus was balling, and then he had CJ McCullough, and CJ McCullough been balling. You can't say garbage when they have the second best backcourt in the NBA besides Klay and Steph when healthy.
I would replace AD with Klay just simply because AD is only 28. Like, that's real early for him to be saying he's top 75 already. Like, that's just how I feel.
And I think that's the main problem with this list too. I don't like the simple fact that they got people on here so early in their career too.
Yeah. Luka wasn't on there, was he?
No.
Nah.
Yeah, they ain't go that early.
They're not been.
Just to have like Anthony Davis, I think like 28. Like, he could not be nothing the rest of the time. And I don't know. I think it's easy to get into the NBA Hall of Fame, but I don't know if that's a Hall of Fame career. I think that's kind of, he's borderline LaMarcus Aldridge now without a ring in it. I mean, he got a ring with LeBron, but outside of that, it's like, yeah, you carried trash teams, but you never just carried them. That's why I said Dwight should get that honor, because by himself, he got them to the finals, whether he lost or not.
And then if you got Anthony Davis on there, the only thing that separates Anthony Davis from DeMarcus Cousins is the ring. But DeMarcus Cousins was balling.
He was a dog
before AD, and AD was balling in New Orleans, but DeMarcus Cousins was putting up monster numbers, and he was literally the best big man in the league before he tore his Achilles and then, had the knee problem. Yeah. But DeMarcus Cousins in AD's career is very similar besides the ring. And, because AD stayed injured too. So AD stayed injured, so you can't really say injuries. But
we know why DeMarcus Cousins ain't on this list.
No, but
we know he a straight up dog with an attitude. They don't like
a lot of it be likability too. That's why I kind of look at it's kind of favorable, because it's like we all know. Well, I'm gonna say this: we don't think that Steve Nash should have got no back-to-back MVP.
No.
But I do think Steve Nash should have been on there. He top 5 in assists. Yeah. He one of the truest scoring point guards too. And then the teams that he led, he didn't just do it with one team. He did it with multiple teams that went from nothing to something. And then when they left, they declined. So Phoenix, Dallas, and where else he went to? I know he played with LA for a little bit, but who else did he play for? It was just them two teams.
Really, after Dallas, he wasn't really just making no noise. He was still a solid contributor, but he wasn't like he was.
He went to Phoenix after Dallas, so he was making noise. That's when he won his 2 MVPs. He went to Phoenix after Dallas.
You know what I'm saying? After Phoenix, it wasn't none though.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
It really wasn't none after Phoenix. Not to be. I think he went up there to LA then, like trying to chase a ring. Yeah.
But I just didn't know if he played for somewhere before he went to Dallas, so I couldn't remember that.
Was it the Nets?
Because I can't remember.
I think it was. It might have been the Nets.
I think it might have been the original Nets team, New Jersey. I
Okay.
think that's where he was at for a minute, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's what I'll say about the 75. Again, old school people, I really can't say, but I am happy, they didn't have Dominique Wilkins on there in the top 50 in the original, so I'm glad he got on. So you really can't be too
I ain't mad at that.
too upset because the human highlight reel, I honestly think he should have made the top 50, but he didn't. So therefore he just got on with the top 75. So things are subjective. When you got people, as y'all stated, it's favoritism, and then when you got people voting, everything's opinionated. So you can't really, be mad about it because everybody's opinion is different, and everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Dikembe Mutombo went on this list with.
Nah.
I don't think he ever gonna get on now. He might one day. He probably won't. That's me being funny. That's just me being funny right
Yeah.
Because if you gonna put him, I think Ben Wallace should go before Mutombo.
For sure.
But that was joking.
Nah, no, I'm just saying.
Ben Wallace really underappreciated. When I looked at
He
his
really
numbers,
is. He really
he
is.
was a dog, like a dog. He couldn't.
He
He could provide you
was-
nothing else, but
He was Rodman after Rodman. You know
basically,
what I mean?
yeah.
That man was out here getting 20 rebounds a game, block shots, 2 points. He was just out there to cause mayhem, you know what I'm saying, on them boards and defensively.
Yeah,
That was something. Yeah, he was something crazy. So yeah, I mean, he'll probably get on the top 100.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
probably
he just
get
made
in
it
the
to the
top
Hall of
100.
Fame, so he got his flowers somewhere. So that's all that really matters, because people just shooting for that Hall of Fame, and he made it.
And he was like one of the first people out of the what was it, like an HBCU school or something like that, to make it to the Hall of Fame or something like that. Yeah. Salute.
Rose, you want to transition us to the next topic?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. Yeah, so basically what the discussion would be is one of our supporters that hit me up and was like, we should discuss this topic. And the topic is, do we feel that rap music has a major influence on this generation compared to previous generations? So
Short and sweet answer for me for right now. Then we'll go deep into it. I would say yes, because of social media and the internet. I would say they have more of an influence than it was in the past. When I was growing up, in my younger years, listening to music, it was just basically you had to be home at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, listen to Rap City The Basement. You had to catch before it was Rap City The Basement, you had to catch I forgot what they call it. However, it was you had your rap videos. They just strictly showed rap videos from 3 to 4 or from 4 to 5.
106
Can't remember exactly. Nah, before 106.
Miss Cedar. I can't remember the
Even
name.
before
It
Miss
was Miss
Cedar.
Cedar.
Even before Miss Cedar, you had BET Play just gave you an hour block from 3 to 4 where they was playing nothing but rap songs. Just before Miss Cedar, before The Basement and all that. And then you had Dr. Dre, Ed Lover with your MTV Raps that came on Friday nights. Outside of that, man, you had to just go to the record store and take your chance on who the hot artist was and catch it on the radio. Outside of their raps and their lyrics and their videos, you didn't pretty much hear from them unless you went out and bought the magazines and you wouldn't read about, the stuff they doing, this, that, and the other. And that was it. I think it does have a little bit more influence today because they more accessible. You can follow them, see what their day-to-day is. You can reach out and touch them. And like we said on our internet episode, it'd be a lot of flogging on the Instagrams and Facebooks. So
He said short and sweet, and he went into a whole
oh yeah, my bad.
Hey,
It
because
was.
I was just about to say, well, thank you, Flake, for your input. Yeah.
The most of us trying to think about what their rap show was from 3 to 4 when I got out of school.
That led into Miss Cedar and blah, 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 blah. We used to get off the bus and but go ahead, Spears. What's your thoughts on it, man?
Okay, so can you ask the question one more time so I can make sure I have the correct answer for it? Because I heard something that Flake said, but I don't know if that was really the question that you asked. I just want to
Yeah,
make
so,
sure.
yeah, so the question is do we feel that rap music has a major influence on this generation?
So this generation being
The younger kids.
after us,
Yeah, or well, almost a mix. So yeah. We'll just go with the younger kids. Is it more impressionable? Is it that much of a difference between how we listen to music and they listen to music? I put it that way. I'm 30, you all are mid-30s up to, Flake, we ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference. You all heard a different genre of music, a different way of going about it. Do you think that rap has more of an impact on like the morale or core values of like the kids nowadays? Like, do you think they just
The high school, high school and college kids.
Yeah, high school, middle school, how we start sneaking and listening to rap, like, is it more of an impact now?
I would say not more of an impact. I would say the impact would be the same for me. I would say there is more access to certain things, to Flex point, but I wouldn't say it's more of an impact, because when we was coming up, we was all trying to be like or emulate or get some of the things that our favorite rappers had at that time, whether it was Biggie and, Cool G. Cool G was big then, rocking Jabot jeans and all this other stuff. Whether it was Pac with the bandanas and, trying to be a gangster or a thug life type stuff. Whether it was, Wu-Tang and all of this and everything from Outkast to, Jeezy and T.I. even when they first came out, trap stuff and everything. So I wouldn't say that it has more of an impact than any other time in life, but I will say it's more access to it. And so because the evolution of the world and technology, you got laptops, you got social media, you got smartphones and all of this stuff, it is more access, but I don't think it has more of an impact, because I still think, people was trying to be like Slick Rick even back in the 70s and 80s and all that. People was trying to be like Heavy D and all those rappers. So LL Cool J and, the list goes on. So I don't think that, again, it has more of an impact for me. I don't think so.
That's real. So since everybody's giving that whole thing, I would go with, I think it's yes, but it's like from two different perspectives. I don't have kids, but I would say that I think the difference is now is, from what I've seen, is that the parents listen to the music that they listen to now amongst their kids way different from how it was when I was growing up. Like, if it was even a song or even something that's on TV, but just keep it on that. Like, if it's a song that was nasty, turn that off. Like, you couldn't listen to that, or really had to sneak into grandma's house, and if she came in there and it's BET Uncut, I'm turning it back to Flake Dreamcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't watch nothing that was considered as explicit or mature for that. And I think the blend of parents actually saying, I'd rather them do it with me, led to it being like more accessible to them. Of course, the internet, I think that's almost a given in this time. But then the second part for me is, we imitated you. We could have got a couple ounces of weed, bro. We thought we was Big Meech that Jeezy done got it, that was talking about, you feel me? Now, but these young cats are hearing, the people representing from Old Block and this hood, this whole spinning and killing. You heard people talk about how they would protect themselves, but now it's almost turned into like a sport. And so now they're not just imitating and they're playing, cops and robbers. They real deal hitting the blocks and putting what's supposed to be art into actual actions. Where I think, and it's crazy, but I'd rather to see hustlers than killers. You feel me? So I think that's where it's turned to crazy turn, to where it's out of control, is because once you get that, and like, you know how it is, like a dog, once you finally taste blood, it ain't really too much a grown-up can tell you if you feel like that's what made you in the streets. And that's what's making the youth be so fascinated with this lifestyle. It's like everybody playing Grand Theft Auto. But it ain't no cheat code, and you don't come to the hospital and you be able to come back. So for me, I feel like it's just being in the cusp between being around Flake and how, parenting was then, and then me being 30 and seeing how it is now. I think those are the blends of what I've seen, is that the difference between the generations is not just the accessibility, but the influence that the parents are having on the kids following what they listen to because they're not turning it off like our elders did when we came around until they knew you was just pretty much exposed to it.
And I would semi disagree just because I get the point and the premise, but I also think that to your example and point, them kids in O Block, them young men in O Block are really living that life. So without the rap, they gotta do what they gotta do, and they gotta get it out the mud and survive, and that they really killers. The people on, and off of Slauson and Crenshaw, in Watts, and the people in, Flatbush or Queens, or the people in Oak Cliff, the people in Third Ward, Dallas, Sunnyside, Houston, and all that other stuff. I believe they're living the life that historically and systemically that America set up. And the thing that is easier now is easier to get a bag. So because they're telling the story through art, as you said, of their life, it's easier to get a bag. And then you know that the head people of them things are going to exploit us. They're going, try to, just exploit us and try to get a dollar off of us, and then also allow the story that we've been telling since the beginning of time, some rappers, about death, getting females, doing all that other stuff. And the story hasn't changed at all, but the accessibility has. But again, I think it's more of a socioeconomic disparity and issue versus a music industry issue for me.
I definitely agree with you on that. But when you think about the kids in any hood, I ain't gonna put no emphasis on because it don't matter where you at, it's just how you coming. When you put it in music, I think it's a difference between when you're just telling a story until when you're glorifying what you've actually been through. So like to survive and make it out is everybody's goal. You feel me? But to say, oh man, I really went to Spirit Block and blah, 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 that ain't really it. It's almost like when I think about like old Jadakiss, and they're speaking about how they made it up out those situations. To me, these younger kids now aren't just talking about these past events. These people are talking about what they're going to do that hasn't happened. So it's almost like this imagination for this kid that ain't even around no thugs like that. Now you latch on to this, and now you're trying to act like the ones that's from those hoods where that's the only way you can survive. So it's like you're glorifying something that you might not even have to do, but it's so impressionable and everybody thinks it's so cool. Now we have everybody that's from every little that ain't even like that. You could be somewhere in Katy that's real nice, but you want to be this. Like this, just the over glorifying is what I think is just plaguing them, because you can't really tell the difference between the ones that's really living like that, or this is just somebody that was just rapping in the basement. Mom couldn't even hear him rapping, and now he's a rapper, influencing some kid that shouldn't even be thinking about toting no gun or putting on no red or blue or orange or black bandana. Like that's where it comes to. It's like if you're glorifying it, completely different from just telling how you made it out.
Yeah, and I agree that to some point, especially since because now everybody chasing like this clout. So let me put out a rap song that's gonna give me some numbers, some likes. Let me embarrass this crew. Let me embarrass that crew. Whatever we did, I ain't even caring about really the music. I'm just trying to get a quick song, probably make a bag out of it, and then tell my story about how I'm finna embarrass this crew. And basically, what it boils down to is you got more people in the music industry these days because it's easier to get on. You don't need a label to get on anymore, which is a good thing, and it's also a bad thing, because you can be the most trash rapper ever, but if you put out that one song that that sounds crazy enough, people gonna jump onto it and be like, "Oh, you hear about what he said about woo woo and said about this crew and said about this clique." Then you ain't even listening for the goodness of the song. You listening to it because of what was being said on there and what was being glorified or whatnot. when you got and these rappers are really young. That's why I get to thinking. Even though we had a bunch of young rappers in our day, but it was kind of like their first album is gonna be maybe the first two albums gonna be like I'm gonna tell you how I got out, and then after that is I'm moving from that into basically talk about where I'm at this time of day and how people once they get to this level they can make more money or be constructed net. Some of these kids ain't even getting to the no second or third album around or this, that, and another. Like I said, I don't think it's most of them that are out is not really about the art of music itself. It's just let's go out here and embarrass this crew. Let's talk about who we done killed. Let's snitch on ourselves. Let's snitch on our homeboy. Even though we say we ain't snitching, but listen to the song. I had on a dark mask on a Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Rolled up on Lil Kiki, pulled out the strap, upped it on him, and Lil Kiki been dead for the last 2 weeks. All right, so we know what's been going on. So, but yeah, you can reach any kid now. It used to be when I was coming up, you had to be a certain age to buy. If you had the parental advisory stick on it, you had to be a certain age to go in and buy that, or you had to know somebody at your high school or whatever that had that album and you could dub it, burn the CD or whatever it is. In today's time, shoot, any kid that got an iPhone can put iTunes on and pull it up, or they can download SoundCloud for free or Spotify for free and just let it roll and come up on plenty of artists that that unplug their music there. So I mean, it's hard to say it's not having a huge influence on some of the youth, because you can tell by the YouTube views. Some of these rappers, I ain't gonna say no names, but it's getting millions of views. You like, why in the world is this getting? Why is this getting millions of views? Like this song ain't even that good. When you listen, I'm smoking on what's called pack. You're like, oh, okay, all right. So that might be the reason why they get X amount of views as they getting or whatnot. When it used to be, if the music ain't good, we just toss it out the window. We got so many rappers that sound pretty much the same. It's ridiculous. And then if you think about the drill rap, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a fan of drill, depending on what drill it is. I'm a fan of it, but they pretty much sound the same also. But they keep, if you put out a drill song, you get millions of views. Even I can't even remember the little white boy name. What's his name? Slim Jesus or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
The little fake drill dude. Even he had millions of views, and folks thought Slim Jesus was really on that until it hit the fan, and then he had to bow down from there. But it ain't too many young. It is some young conscious rappers out here that's rapping about some good stuff. It's quite a few. And to be honest with you, the ones at the top of the rap game are those. When you talk about your Kendricks, when you talk about your J. Cole's, those are pretty much the top dogs in the rap industry right now. And that's the crazy part. It's like it's only a few conscious rappers at the top, but then you got the middle of the sandwich is where it's like a whole bunch of ruckus going on. And then at the next bottom, you got a whole bunch of other conscious rappers right there as well. So, I mean, I think it got some type of impact on our youth today and got some little bit of hold on. Not all, but it got some type of hold on.
Now,
you see how Flake just bullied that man? You see how Flake just he said he ain't gonna say no rapper name, but then he gonna jump on Slim Jesus though. You feel me? Like,
I mean, he ain't even relevant no more. He ain't even relevant no more. So
yeah,
I mean,
Slim Jesus still making music. I mean, them folks still think he. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's entertainment. But Flake don't want them other folks to get on his heels. He had to do a comedy.
Hey man, hey look, I'm tell you something. I'm a civilian out here. I call the police.
Yeah. Flake don't want to get on his heels. Next time we go to Chicago, yeah.
I'm a civilian. I call the police.
Talking about Jamal.
I need some security. See, FOI over here, boys. FOI. I need security.
I don't want to get to misinterpreted that I'm saying that it don't have no type of influence. I'm just saying I don't think the influence is any bigger than what it was back in our day growing up, back in our parents' day growing up, or back in uh I guess even our grandparents' day growing up. But I know my grandparents hip hop wasn't even established yet or founded yet. So I guess I won't go back to my grandparents. But I mean, that even goes back to the blues or to jazz or to even any of that music that they was even listening to. So I will go to my grandparents. I don't think there's any difference in the impact that it has. I just think because of technology. So I would say technology is the impact. I would say that the systemic racism and the disenfranchisement and the marginalized aspects that they put us through and the different trials and tribulations that we go through as a people in a culture and a community will be more of an influence and an impact than actually the rap game. Because as you stated, if you go probably the five biggest rappers right now, most of them are all conscious or they're all lover boys. So you go from Kendrick, Cole, Drake, to some you could put Ye in there. So I'm just going by numbers from another numbers aspect. Ye in there and all of that, conscious. T.I. even conscious, So when you go on that aspect and the ones who really do the most numbers. Now I'm not talking about YouTube views because I know when videos pop out, I know NBA YoungBoy, the biggest YouTube person out there. So as far as a musical standpoint in his videos, so I do get that, but I just think that these days some of these cats are really a product of their environment, and then the ones who aren't, like the aforementioned, you the pressure always gonna come, and you either gonna rise to the pressure or you're gonna fall, and a lot of people fold. So if you are fronting, stunting, and false claiming or doing something that you shouldn't be doing, you're putting yourself in trouble. But that's also a parental thing or a mentor thing or a family community thing where somebody's telling you in the suburbs of Dallas or in the suburbs of Houston or Nashville, you're not even built like that. You don't go to school, you don't do that. So why are you trying to portray something? I don't care if you listen to the music, because some of the music is catchy, some of the music, vibe to. You can make you a TikTok video or whatever. But again, to portray something and do something that you're not, perfect example. How I told y'all about that thing. I don't know if y'all seen the news clipping where the Arlington police chief said that, it was no bullying thing. It was just, the cat who said that whose parents came out and said he was bullied. He was the one who was really trying to bully. And then he just got mad because he got whooped up on. And then, actions like that. So again, we have to take, I don't think we could give the people who trying to appropriate us and exploit us that much power. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'm following. I actually did a little short video on the Mansfield incident as well. But the thing I think the internet, but my biggest thing would be the biggest gripe for me would be we can say who the top artists are, but then when we do some mentoring and talk to some of the kids that we may be around or have been around, they're not going to mention any of that top five you just mentioned. That's the thing, is there's like what are they considering top artists is the big difference between the disconnect with us. Because it's like we would say somebody that's actually talking about something. Like I hear new artists every day that, like, if I talk to like Sunset, I'm like, I don't even know this dude. Like Trippie Redd, like couldn't name you Playboy Cardi, couldn't name you one song, but the young kids are like, hey, Mr. Rose, like listen to him. Like when I went to the school and was doing some mentoring, it's like, listen, I don't even know these rappers. Who your favorite artist? I'm like, if somebody that y'all probably would even listen to would be Rod. Oh, I like Rod Wave. I get to mention others. Oh, they old, man. They old. Like they old. Everybody trying to hear that. Like they loving them cats that's living Grand Theft Auto life, and it's relatable. So, I mean, I think to me it comes down to what are we allowing them to have access to, even though we know they can get to the school and be exposed to it? But still, what's the upbringing like? What is it looking like in the house to make sure that they stay on track and not let what somebody's profiting off of become your reality? Because everybody ain't got 50K to 100K to throw to no lawyer once you do the race. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, only reason why I know some of the rappers you name because I got a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old, so I can kind of keep up with what's going on. Every once in a while, they riding in the car with me. Let me control the radio. Let me get the aux. Let me get the Bluetooth. Let me that. And I only do it. I don't be wanting to hear it, but I only do it so I can keep up with who out there. So I've heard of those cats that you named. Have I sit down and try to listen? No, not really. Outside of what they play, every once in a while I will. If somebody come out with a new album, I turn it on and I give it a spin just to see, what they talking about. I might give it that one spin and just see what they talking about or what it is, just in case it is brought up. I know what they talking about. But yeah, them. I mean, if anything, if more of an influence in it, I can't even say that. I would say if anything, them daggum the pill popping and everything else has been, but if I take it back to my day when they was talking about smoking chronic and everything else, everybody was trying to do that. We had the lean phase for a while as well, where we had kids out here trying to drink on lean. I'm glad that phase didn't last long, but we had a situation where kids was drinking lean. We had the drug dealer music.
That lasted long. That lasted long.
Yeah, it did last. Let me take that lie back. Maybe, it didn't last long. It didn't last long around. I say that it lasts long around my community because we always like playing it right here. I don't want to feel that no more.
Yeah, we'll talk off camera.
Yeah, I don't want to feel that no more. But yeah, we had the whole lean phase, the whole syrup phase. That did last for a long time because lean and syrup.
From 90 to
that lasts for a long time too.
It's still now. You can still hit certain cities and find out what the pints hitting for.
It ain't as prevalent, but that's just because of the drought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because they banned it.
Allegedly, yeah, we seen that in a couple movies. But yeah,
allegedly.
Based off of what they, based off what they say, it's kind of hard to find. So maybe
it ain't as accessible as it used to be.
We'll go with that.
When it used to be, you could call one person and be like, "Oh, bet, I'm out, but I give you the number to so and so." Exactly. Now you gotta go. Now you gotta kind of go searching. Go kind of search. But the pill era has popped off in some of the rap as well. So I guess is where we at now with the opioid and pill era right now for music. I mean, I can kind of waffle with Spears on it somewhat and say, it really ain't. I think about the way we was dressing. The way, the way folks out there trying to sell weed and smoke weed and even we got the same now. The way they dressing, the way they popping pills, the way they doing that and the other. I mean, it might be, I believe this era a little bit more violent than ours was. I say that.
Because they're afraid to get their ass whooped.
Yeah, I will say that.
That's the biggest difference for me. That's why I said
from the shoulders.
Yeah, like that's the biggest thing for me is like we grew up fighting at camp. Like it's the likelihood of them not even going to camp is one extremely high. So ain't no structure the whole summer. Secondly, the likelihood of you even seeing them fight is even lower. That's all you need right there. We had to fight at camp. Like that's just all it was. Like you were going to fight at camp, but now they ain't got the structure that OGs locked up. And everybody's shooting because you can't get hit in the mouth.
But then it goes back to your point too that you made many episodes ago, Rose. But just when we talked about Chicago or whatever. But it goes back to the point where we're getting these guns from. So again, that's why I say it's not just a music thing because again, our population we know got more felons than anything. As a felon, you ain't supposed to be able to carry it, so you can't go in and legally buy a gun. But most felons got pistols and straps, and then most of these young kids got straps and they're not even of age to purchase. So where they getting all these guns and weapons from? So again, that's more of a, an America KKK thing than I would say a music industry thing, because again, this stuff, well, it is falling out the sky basically, just from how we talked about the whole situation and stuff. But again, like it's not by osmosis. So I would say, and to a point that you just made, I would say it's about the household too. So if we took control of our households again, if we took control of our communities again, I think that some of this stuff wouldn't have the impact that it has. But I'm still on the side, maybe like 60-40 of it's not more impactful than it was in any other time. I just think that, again, we got more scary ass people. We got a lack of OGs, like we said. We got more people, one, also fearful of the younger generation.
That's where it's at, bro. Like when I say
step up and correct.
Yeah, when I say impact, it's not even saying that you all didn't experience something different. My impact is, when the very key point that you said was the community. Like you couldn't even, like, by the time I was walking across town with my pants sagging and the bandana, my grandmama had already got called 2 or 3 times. I don't know who he hanging with, but this is what's going on with him. You know what I'm saying? Like this flake call, hey, what's going on with your nephew? Everything cool. Well, I mean, I'll be down there, we'll rap. I'm already knowing what the score is, but that's just what it was at the time. You feel me? So it's like, I knew, but also that was the difference, because now it's just, well, you know what that is, or that's just how it is. Back in the day, man, I done got both of my grandparents called, my great grandmama on the phone, because she stay in the hood, sitting on the porch. She knows it and told everybody. So it's like, by the time I made it home, everybody know what I done did or what I'm doing. It ain't like that now. It's almost like we just brush it off like, oh, well, that's just how they do. That's what they do now. No, dog, it wasn't going like that.
It ain't even that. It ain't even that. When you got the parents sometimes mad at you for trying to correct their child, talking about why you all in my business, this, that, and the other. Well, shoot, I'm trying to keep you trying to put your house up on the market, try to get your child a lawyer at the end of the day. So yeah, we definitely, as I got one of my shirts to say, because we look out for all our little young ones, and in my circle or whatnot, we got a shirt to say it takes a community. I mean, it takes a village. I mean, and that's basically what it is for real. Like that has never stopped. It will always be it take a village. Until we get back to that, that's gonna be the problem, because we got to get tired of, we got at some point as parents got to be like, hey, they just looking out for possibly what's best for you, instead of thinking there's somebody in your business and want to talk about you. Like I said, that power of social media and all that mess, because even as you think about as coaches, when you sports coaches and stuff like that, you be trying to talk to these kids, this, that, and the other, and folks make a big deal out of it. Like, you're not finna talk to my kid like that, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm trying to coach your kid, regardless of what that be, track, cheerleading, football, basketball, this, that, and the other. Like a high school football coach, well, y'all know Trent Dilfer that played in NFL. He coached in one of the schools here. He did a little something that was light to probably any of us that played sports. And it went viral. Like, Trent Dilfer don't like when his players talk back to him. And it was comments under there like, he shouldn't be doing that to a kid and blah, 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 blah. He out here discipline just because it happened in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to discipline the kid. He ain't push the kid. He ain't throw no punches. He kind of jacked him up by his shoulder pads a little bit. But that was about it. Like, it's been, y'all would never want to go back to the 90s and see one of our practices.
And shout out to my old freshman and middle school coach. I don't even know if they even listen. They might, because Doc do. But Teddy Pettigrew and Anthony Ballard, man, bro, I didn't get joke up out my, with this slick mouth I got, they taking me clean up out the air. Darren telling me to do something, because I know your mama them, so what they gonna do? I mean, that's the difference of nowadays. Like, all right, yeah, Teddy, you got it, bro. Like, you got me in the air like a little, like a little doll or something. You feel me? Like, it's way different, bro. You can't even, it's just so many different elements that have played into the fact of that being the, the rap music, or just the impact of the influences. the community is different now, bro. From parenting to, it's way different. That's really all it is. Like times have changed.
And then I was just gonna add too with the parenting aspect. When you got parents smoking with their kids, or when you got parents, doing certain things with their kids and their kids still in school. Like when I say school, I ain't talking college. I'm talking about high school, middle school, or whatever. Like the impact ain't the music really, it's the parents. Because the parents out here doing this, the parents out here so-called thugging and making sales and transactions and doing whatever, or out on the streets, prostituting or whatever the case may be. And
right in front of the kids.
Right in front of the kids. Like, so, and I mean, I know we went through that, like some of us, not me personally, but some of us went through that growing up or whatnot. But again,
but your parents would try to hide it then. It'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna make these sales, but I'm gonna be gone all day and make these sales. Like my kid, like it used to be drug dealers I seen that was still picking their kids up from school and taking them to school and picking them up from school. In between that time, they was out there moving packs.
And that's the crazy part about it, because I think now it's more of a lifestyle that everybody wants everybody to know what they're doing. Is a big difference as well. So that's another thing why it's impressionable. Like, and I definitely won't say no names, but me and Flake from the same city, we had no idea. Well, I didn't, because I was younger than Flake. I had no idea who the heavy hitters was in my city. All I knew is when you seen them, they was punching in the chest when you rolled through the hood. That's all I knew until I got older. Was like, oh, now that makes sense. And that's just what it was. Now oh man, John Doe got, his daddy do woody woo. He in the car with his daddy. Like, the daddy got people that don't like him, man. You feel me? Like, it's just way different. I don't know. It's just, everybody just think it's just this whole, and I get it. Don't get me wrong, but that's just what it is in the hood. It didn't always be that way. I was around people that didn't even want me to do none of that. Stay playing sports, don't do this, don't do that. But once I made my decision, of course, they're going to give you the game on how to, survive, but just to be almost to where it's cool, before you know it, you're short at 12, 13, he doing what you're doing because he look up to you. You feel me? So it's a lot to play in as a factor. But yeah,
but I mean, and again, that goes to people want to be seen on social. No, people want to be seen on social media, so that's why they put their business all out in the street, and they want them likes and they want them comments, and they're trying to go viral. So I mean, that has just as much as an impact as music do to me. So again, I would say it's not all on music, but I will leave people with this. Just as we state a lot of times on Supremely Black, just be present. Be present in the lives of the younger generation. Be present in your family lives. Be present in your communities, and just be present. And again, if you got a problem, don't just whisper the problem and talk about the problem amongst your people who share a like mind with you. Actually get out there and do some shit. Actually get out there and try to make a difference. Actually go to a school and ask, can you mentor? Sign up for, I don't even know if they still got them anymore, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, but they definitely got Boys and Girls Clubs still, so volunteer there. Do something with your local nonprofit or your local activists or whatever. Don't just say, oh, this generation lost it, but then don't have no solution or resolution to the problem, because then you're just a part of the problem because you ain't doing nothing and you're watching your community perish. So that's what I gotta say.
Hey, and just to follow up and to leave it at this, to the kids that's watching, or the ones that get to listen to this with their parents, to be for real with you, the real thugs or the real gangsters, however they was perceived, the ones that have been through life and then made it out, they're actually trying to help the community. So don't let the ones that's leading you astray continue to lead you astray. Trust me, that ain't the thing. Like, shout out to my cousin Kulu. He just came home after he did 6 years. You feel me? Like, he automatically touched down and he got his kids and trying to be right back involved where he had lost years. You feel me? But at the end of the day, the ones that's really trying to impact the community are the ones that people would love to say it had turned their back on them, or might have led to some of the stuff that we're actually discussing in this episode. But the real ones are actually trying to help and change or break those generational curses. They not trying to continue to have you sent out to do crash dumb as shit, just to be for real with you. Like they're not. So that ain't gangster at all.
And to go back some is I can't remember his name, but I heard an interview with one of the founders of the Black Gangster Disciples. And it just reminded me, we all got to think about when these crews first started.
Yeah.
It was about protecting the community. It was about, helping out the ones in need. It was about having programs to feed the kids and tutoring sessions and karate classes and making sure the neighborhood wasn't being messed with by anybody else, but just making sure somebody grandma could go to the grocery store at 9 o'clock at night and make it back home safely, this, that, and other. That's where all this started, but as we talked about before, as OGs begin to fall and being locked up on BS charges and RICO laws and this, that, and the other, and you taking the leaders out of the community and you putting bogus charges on them because they're associated with a certain group, and we might have had, a couple of young ones go rogue, and you just take that out on that whole particular group or whatnot. Not saying that some of these groups don't do bad stuff, but we gotta go back to the root cause of why these groups were started, these organizations were started, was basically for the protection of the community, of the children and the women.
You talking about Don Kirk, the one that had the interview, I think it's on Vlad.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah, from yeah. He was talking about that. He was talking pretty heavy on that too. And it's all true. Like, it was, community, revolution,
community awareness,
progress. Yep. It's a lot of different things that you feel me? It's community revolution, progress. It was a lot of different things, It was a lot of different ways that things were going about. Yeah, you feel me? It's a lot of different things that was going the correct way. You feel me? Like all that, like GDs, BDs, Bloods, Crips, you name it, was actually based off of the protection of the neighborhood. And how they always say that when they start dropping the dope and the guns on us, it spiraled out of control because now you're starting to protect, but in the form of money, which we didn't have prior to. It was about the family and the community, and you were protecting them from actual white people that was coming in trying to do whatever they wanted to, as if they were still managing a plantation. So that's really where it all originally started. And we all know, for people that are real members, understand exactly where they came to and where it spiraled out of control. But it's also up to those same real members to make sure that we get it back to where the roots was. And if people don't agree or don't fall in line, then, however you handle that on your end, just make sure you start handling it accordingly, and we'll have it back under control before we know
it. Yeah, because brotherly love overcomes oppression and destruction. So
absolutely.
But on a transparent tip, like honestly, like that's why I had to put my flags away. Like I used to rock them mugs religiously everywhere I went. And you could ask Rose, everywhere I went, no matter where I was, I would rock that boy. But as of late, probably the past 4 or 5 months, I didn't retire it. Sometimes it come out with me, but most of the time I just put them away because, again, how can I try to uplift my community if I'm seen as partially tearing it down because of some of the things that I may have represented in my past, or I still represent now, because it's never going to be done with me. But again, just actively, if I'm actively trying to mentor somebody or talk to somebody, or even get a fellow adult or mentor to come on board and do something with me, and they see me with, my flag out my pocket and stuff, they're going to look at me and be like, how serious are you? Like, are you intentional? Do you mean this? Are you deliberate about what you're trying to do? Or are you just doing this? And so, again, as Rose said, when you grow up and when you get older and wiser and more knowledgeable, you put some things away, and some things you gotta relieve yourself of.
Yeah. And of course, when you think about it from a way you want to be intentional, and people that may not may not be knowledgeable of where it comes from, right? Even though we know what it is, we know the impact. But also another key thing is, I was talking about this with a couple of my homies. I think a lot of times, you know, when we're speaking about the youth, the message to the youth, as I'm leaving with, is that you do have to meet these kids where they're at. And a lot of times we try to take this guy that's from a corporate America with, you know, everything that could be established, has a master's degrees. I hate to say it, but that's not relatable to the kid that is caught up in the struggle and in the hood. Like, you telling him what he should be doing is not understanding of why he's doing the things he's doing. So I to your point, I definitely get what you're saying, but also to those kids, if you really want one of them ones that they would respect, or they knew for a fact they people said it was putting it down out here for whatever reasons, the likelihood of them you really being able to reach them is highly unlikely. Just to be for real, which, you know, when you're dealing with the youth, they want to know if you can really relate to them, and a lot of times we disconnect just based off of the accolades that we accomplish later in life. So I'll just leave with that.
Yeah, and just real quick, just going, one thing we'll never think about is we got, you know, we hear the stories of the rappers and the struggle of that community, of that neighborhood, and what's going on. But the people we never think about is the ones who don't make it as rappers, is not going to be rappers, that's living in that community, and the opportunity, a chance they might have to make it out or survive at a certain, you know, at a certain prospect or a certain time in their community or whatnot. So those are the people that, you know, that don't get thought about as often. The ones that's the heart of their community or whatnot. So just keep those people in prayers, and then if you can, step into community and help out with that, whatever community you in or wherever you at. Just a simple conversation. You ain't got to be there 5 days a week, feet on the ground, but, you know, if you can reach one, that's accomplishment in itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Side note, this don't got nothing to do with nothing, but my Bulls are 4-0 and my Cowboys are 5-1.
Kaepernick still ain't got a job, but y'all go ahead.
says the only guy that I know on this show that was in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. So
protested. Yeah, we sat down. Yeah.
I don't know how folks get autographs protesting, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm a real one, you feel me? I'm a real one, man. He knew where to find me at. Yeah. Hey, but y'all boy looking good, though. I gotta give it to you, man. I hope y'all fall off, but I gotta salute you while you're up.
Okay, so y'all got something else to say before I drop this Black Business Minute?
Nah, I done said enough.
All right, so our Black Business Minute this week is Mahogany Books. In 2007, Derek and Ramunda Young launched Mahogany Books, an online-only retailer that specializes in books written for, by, or about people of the African diaspora. 10 years later, the husband and wife duo opened the doors of their brick-and-mortar store in Anacostia, a historically African-American neighborhood in Southeast Washington, D.C. You can purchase books online, but also make sure to check out their blog, Black Books Matter, for staff recommendations and curated book lists. So you could go to mahoganybooks.com to find them. And again, they're on Instagram at Mahogany Books. So that's MAHOGANYBOOKS. And that's their Instagram. And you could go to mahoganybooks.com to find them. And again, they basically, they have a brick and mortar, but they're an online library bookstore. And they also have a brick and mortar in DC where you could buy books that are African written, about African people, about Black people, written for us, by us, and, you know, it's curated for the Black diaspora. So Mahogany Books, salute to you, and shout out for being excellent and putting us on the map.
Shout out Mahogany.
Supreme Black Persons of the Week is gonna be a list. We're gonna talk about if you getting tired of hearing the drill music, shoot them up, bang bang. Some of these gonna be old school, but they gonna be in your iTunes. They gonna be in your title. They gonna be on your SoundCloud. They gonna be all there. So we gonna start off with Nas. Nasir Jones, which has been our Spring Black Person of the Week before. We got Jay-Z, Tupac, Common, Public Enemy, Kendrick, Mos Def, Tribe Called Quest, Kanye, Talib, KRS-One, J. Cole, Lupe Fiasco, The Roots, which is fire, Joey Badass, Outkast, Wu-Tang, Scarface, DMX, some of his songs, Black Star, Dead Prez, Rhapsody, Big Crit. You know what I mean? So just a list of some rappers that is not necessarily talking about that shoot 'em up, bang bang, talking about dope dealing, that this, that, and the other, but you want to listen to the gang, some type of knowledge, or that can relate to you as you go to your 9 to 5, do your normal stuff that you do. Those are a list of rappers that you can turn on and take a listen to. Gonna make you think, make you go back and re-listen to some songs. To go check them out. Don't forget about Wale. He just dropped a new album this past week, which is hitting as well. So take a listen to him. So I'm giving Supremely Black to all those rappers that was giving them conscious raps. We can go back to the late. We can go back further. We can go back to Queen Latifah, MC Light. We can go all at TLC. We can go back to those days, man. So some good classic rappers that not even doing nothing about gangster rap or anything about that you can tune on and listen to and vibe out to this day, because they have timeless music.
Absolutely, salute, definitely salute to that.
Yeah, that's a great list too. A great list. So.
Oh yeah. I had to look up for a little bit of help, and then I plugged in some of my own little favorites as well. Because just off the top of the head, I ain't gonna remember everybody.
Nah, for real.
But go check them out, because every person I named got at least one classic album in a dialogue. You know what I'm saying? So you can definitely look them up and take a listen, man. So.
And real quick, I'm not about to get into it unless y'all want to, but I just got to give credit when credit is due. Greg Abbott, you're a piece of shit still, but salute to what you just did. So I'm gonna say that. If you know, you know.
All right. With that being said, all our queens out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side, let them know you are a queen. For all our kings out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side, let them know you are a king. We are not 3/5 of anything, but we are supremely black, and we out.